So, last episode we left off with Oda Nobunaga and Tokugawa Ieyasu forming an alliance between the Oda clan and the Matsudaira, which is now known as the Tokugawa clan. Now, this alliance is especially important, since there are many bigger clans towards the east, with clans of the Oja, Takeda, and Usugu. How do you pronounce these names? With the Tokugawa, they had the strength to defend against these clans, and the Oda now had an ally that could watch their backs. So with this, the Oda set out to take Kyosho. But there was a slight problem. He had to get through two more clans, the Izai and the Saito. Now, Nobunaga cannot simply roll through the clans, since they were stronger and could ally together against the Oda. But with some gamer plays, he marries his sister to the Izai leader, bringing them into the clan, and he is negotiating with the Saito leader. But then, the Saito leader's son kills him, and makes the Saito declare war. With this, the Oda march into Saito lands, quickly pushing back many of the Saito armies, but never managing to take a few key areas, like the castle of Inubayama. So, he brings in an unexpected hero, one Toyotomi Hideyoshi. This man started as a peasant, but slowly rose to the ranks, starting as a sandal bearer, and now being one of the best builders of the age. With this legend introduced to our story, we can make some progress on Inubayama. Now, not only was Toyotomi an amazing builder, he also had max stats in diplomacy. And with that hat, who could resist that charm? He managed to get every one of Saito's retainers to turncoat, and with the Saito severely weakened, only the castle was left. But Nobunaga still had one problem. He had no place to hold his troops up for a siege of the castle. And this is where Toyotomi's skills come in handy. Supposedly, this man built a castle overnight, right in front of Inubayama, and with his force only a few hundred meters away, Nobunaga had a real shot. But of course, this isn't all. That man's hat must have some special powers, because not only did he manage to turn everyone against the Saito, he even managed to find out a secret passageway to the castle. And in the dead of night, he set the cannon storage alight with an explosion. Most of the guards threw down their weapons as soon as they saw the huge army advancing on them, and Nobunaga finally took Inubayama. With this, another hero joins our group of legends. And with the Saito out of the way, Kyosho was next. But he needs a reason. He can't simply invade the shogun. You need a good enough excuse. And one has just appeared in his doorstep. The dethroned heir to the shogun. This was it, his excuse to conquer Kyosho, which he did, installing his puppet shogun on the throne. But many clans were still against him, so he made the new shogun send dinner invites to all the daimyo. But the shogun had already sent out messages asking for liberation from Nobunaga when he realized he wasn't going to be the actual shogun and merely a puppet. So the daimyo of the Asakura refused to go. So, war was declared. But first, he must get through the Izai, who chose this exact time to revolt. Oda was marching through the Izai lands when they revolted, so Nobunaga slipped away, but one Sugetani Zenjubo was waiting, and he was a ninja. He fires at Nobunaga, 2 shots hit, and he flees from the scene. But Nobunaga refuses to die. With the bullets lodged in his armor, he gets up, and returns to Kyosho, to rally the forces. And in 1570, the combined forces of the Oda and the Tokugawa go to one of the main Izai castles, but were met by 2 armies, and the Oda suffered heavy casualties. They won in the end, but they had to retreat and regroup, and the clan of the Miyoshi allied with the warrior monks of Iko-Iki and declared war. And this is going to be Nobunaga's greatest pain, warrior monks. Now, I too share his hatred for warrior monks, since so many games of Total War Shogun 2 have been ruined by those... Now, you're probably thinking, what are some monks gonna do against an army? Well, these guys are truly overpowered. They just straight up took over a clan, and since they weren't a clan, they could just set up monasteries wherever they wanted, and no one could do a thing to stop them. And there's a certain temple that was causing a whole lot of trouble. The temple of Ishiyama Hunganji. It was so close to Kyoto that it would be a perfect jump point for Nobunaga's enemies. So, Oda Nobunaga sent 30,000 men to take the temple. They tried to charge the temple but sank in the mud, and as they were stuck in, the monks came out and shot them all with arquebusiers. This siege would continue like this for 11 years. No fortress could even compare to the Iko-Iki's temple. It was the longest siege of Japanese history. Now, the Azai and the Asakura were strong enough to be a threat again, and they have a new ally, the warrior monks of Enryuji. Okay, this is it. Let's kill some monks, Nobunaga said, and that's exactly what he did. But sadly, he didn't stop with just monks. On Mount Hiei there was a fortress, much like the temple of Ishiyama Honganji, and Oda Nobunaga was not going to go through all that again. He surrounded the temple and set the surrounding trees ablaze, but then Nobunaga gave the order to kill everyone. This was the massacre of Mount Hiei. 20,000 men, women, and children were killed, and it was the beginning of the end of Oda Nobunaga.